They know I got them vibes, so you know them fans watching me.
Stay in my chat with the shits. Oh, they must think they can stop me. See, we got rods on the scopes. Now don't get snuck out the lobby.
Is not on me. Now tell me, what do you see?
We send the vibes on the nation. LIP in our blood. We in the sky with this shit. Just think it came out.
See, it's 99% cap, 1% gameplay, 100% vibe. Don't bring that bullshit my way. Try your luck, go against the vibe. Where you fuck, you gon' think I'm Mike Crable the way I make them tighten up. You'll be lucky if you even score. You should read more, though I choose to live in peace. You should know I bleed war. I'm a recon man, one of the best in the sport. I keep a drone on my hip, I let it out to explore. They say the ops on the way. I see one, I know it's more. They just ran inside a building, my EMP gon' deploy. Make them panic, play support. Crypto going manic, they tryna figure out how I do assault damage. Real just mark the surroundings, I know they can't stand it.
Kicks Wheel, Q, KT2 to go.
They don't understand it. I'm headed to the high grounds to get a overstanding. Now you from a distance, see your partners, they done left you
NFC
stranded.
East, where y'all
You
at?
know you headed to the lobby, right? Sorry for your awful fight. I admit it was easy. Get you some practice or you always die. I know you doing that ping thing. They gone, made it out of sniper range. Level 1 knockdown shield. It's been 7 minutes in the fucking game. I'm devoted. Hit you with the devotion. Hear it wind up, quick motion. Now I'm
Aaron
headed
C.
with the win to your partners, but I'm focused. See, Goat just hit that beast on the hunt. Ghost is we reloaded.
Upshaw, what's the vibes? Nah, what's good?
Stay in my chat with the shits. Oh, they must think they can stop me. See, we got
Let me teach you how to vibe.
get snuck out the lobby.
Cesar, what's poppin'? Lil D, number 1 pack smoker.
LIP in our blood. We in the sky with this shit. Just think it came out the mud.
You think it came out the mud? Man, everybody do me a favor, man. This is a Sunday, man. Put that God first in the chat, man. That's what we've been at this year. It's been getting us through. Kicks Wheel with the gifted sub, man. Dragon stickers in the chat. My boy said right out the gate, we gonna come in and drop the ultimate support, bro. That's mad love. I appreciate you, bro. I'm definitely gonna put that sticker, the support sticker. And then if you watching on the green, you have no reason to not use the stickers, man. It's free 99. As long as you're a follower, you can use up to 50 different stickers and emotes on that channel. We live on YouTube, Facebook, Kick, and Twitch, and we monetize on all. Appreciate y'all, man. We in the shop with it on a Sunday, man. We in the shop with it on a Sunday. Yes, Rich Black Man is sad. The Orlando Magic. He ain't playing that little goofy song no more. All right. Let's get into it. I was coming back last night, but you know, we didn't have people in and out the house for the last couple of months, and I got a chance to have a chill night with the girls. So that's what we did. We watched some movies, ate some ice cream. All right. NFC East, and then we on to the AFC North later tonight when I double back. I'm surely gonna double back. Man, the eBay been popping. I gotta do a new Vintage Titan episode, even though I'm putting the reels up. All right. Who do y'all think is the worst, had the worst offseason in the NFC East? I think it should be pretty obvious if you watch this division. And before I continue, while I'm asking y'all that question, while y'all answering it, for people who watch these videos, I am unbiased. I am just being honest. Some of y'all be having y'all whatever team color glasses on and just can't see. Shout out to my guy that was arguing with me on the YouTube about the NFC South, talking about the Buccaneers. I'm like, brother, Buccaneers had their run with Tom Brady, and then Baker Mayfield came in and they had a run. But anybody who's objectively watching the NFC South can say it's a pretty much wide open division at this point. Somebody has to win it. And last year was the first year it felt like the Buccaneers division start sliding away where they don't have complete control of that division, which they won. I could probably say like 5 or 6, maybe even longer years in a row where it seemed like the Buccaneers would find a way to win the NFC South. All right, so we on to the NFC East, a division that is always hot for primetime television. All right, KT2 the GOAT. It's the reason why he's the GOAT. Not only did he come from Sandusky Shower University, he's a Tennessee Titan fan and a fellow girl dad. And he knows what I know, that the Washington Commanders had the worst offseason. And this is a team that was like in the dumpster for the longest. Some kind of a way they won. They made it to the NFC title game, lose to the Eagles in the worst fashion. And then the next season they get Jaden Daniels hurt. The coaching staff breaks up. Cliff Kingsbury leave. It's Dan Quinn over there. Who can he get to come in and bring the offense? Then you have Marcus Mariota and Jeremy McNichols and Traylon Burks. Is it the Tennessee Titan east of former Titan players in Washington? And they continue in that trend with Chig Okonkwo getting a big deal. Shout out to Chig Okonkwo. And Traylon Burks, Marcus Mariota. You start to see a pretty good bit of Tennessee Titan players sprinkled in through their roster. And the reason why I say is, do they have the offensive coordinator that can keep Jaden Daniels upright? And unlike all the other teams, like the Patriots, like the Bears, like the Broncos with Bro Nix, like the Saints doing, the Titans is doing, the Texans, all the teams with the young quarterbacks have been surrounding a really, really, really good young quarterback with talent. And it seems like the Commanders have been doing opposite of that, right? I mean, first you start off and then Deebo Samuels comes in and he leaves. Zach Ertz gone. You just start to see, like, at the top of the draft, they took Sonny Styles, which a lot of people was like, the Titans should take Sonny Styles. Like, no, you should help your young quarterback and put a dog on the team with him. Because right now, if we just being fair, he's the least talented offensive roster in the NFC East. Krosky Merritt, which wound up being a late round steal, Rashad White, Katron Allen from Penn State. I like their running back room. It's very serviceable. But Scary Terry has been off and on injured, wanted a big deal. He's there with Luke McCaffrey and Antonio Williams. With Traylon Burks, Brown, I just don't see anything in that wide receiver room that scares me in the NFC East, right? Then you lose Zach Ertz, so you're down to Chig, John Bates, Big Sano, and Colson Yankoff. That tight end room doesn't scare me. Why? One, because Chig is a very good move tight end, but he's one of the worst blocking tight ends in the league, and that kind of offsets what you can do in tight end sets with having him as a 3-down player. Solid offensive line, not the best. Drafted a center and Goldman this offseason. And then my dog, Daron Payne, Alabama Crimson Tide legend, one of the better defensive tackles in the NFL, with Kinlaw, Settle, Adafio Way, who they just gave a $100 million deal to, along with Frankie Louvu, Sonny Styles, who they drafted, and Kaylavon Chason. So they decided in their big free agent acquisitions this offseason was going to be Owe and Kaylavon Chason, and then Leo Chenal, longtime Chief. And then you add that in with Sonny Styles. Their front seven looks stout. I will say that. I will say that their front seven looks very stout. But when we getting into that secondary, Trey Amos, Nick Cross, Quan Martin, Mike Sandersteele, defensive back who they drafted a few years ago, Mick Robertson, and then they picked up veteran Akello Witherspoon. I'm not their secondary doesn't impress me. Their front seven does. So it's going to be one of these things where, like, this team is going to have to win off just being a good team. But I think they're the least talented team in the NFC East. Now, let me get caught up in the chat. Y'all can disagree, agree, whatever. Doesn't matter. I'm here to get caught up on the chat. But that's my spiel on the Commanders and why they had the worst offseason in the NFC East. KT2 to go agrees. Ravens, Joe Blacko, what's going on? He said it is a NFC East for all the haters and the people that dog them out and troll them. The NFC East is the prime time division. And do they, let me know in the chat by stickers, is the NFC East the most obnoxious fan base in all of sports? I can't think of a division that have more obnoxious fans than having to deal with Dallas Cowboys and Eagles at the same time. And then all Giant fans are trolls. Commanders fans are kind of like the dog you poke with a stick because they usually don't make a lot of noise. They're usually down there just trying to hide. Dan Quinn always have athletic defenses, but what made them good that year was Jaden Daniels went crazy his rookie season, and they used his strong suits with the twin tight end formations with Zach Ertz to really pound people. But I just don't see the talent in the skill positions for them to succeed. I just don't. So, like, let's say Scary Terry misses a game, and you got Luke McCaffrey, Antonio Williams, Traylon Burks, and Diami Brown with Chiga Conko out there, and Krosky Mirror. Like, nobody's scared of that. So let's get into the Commanders draft, though, because they had a pretty good draft. But if we just talking about the overall offseason as a whole, getting Sonny Styles, they might look back on this and say they may have taken an offensive weapon right there. Antonio Williams, wide receiver out of Clemson. Joshua Joseph, edge out of Tennessee. Katron Allen out of Penn State, who is KT2 the GOAT, one of his favorite players. And Matt Golban, center out of Michigan State. And then, Ethan Kalamack, I don't even know how to say his name, from Rutgers. We don't want a quarterback from Rutgers. That's just a pick, that's just a pick. But can this new coaching staff get the most out of this? I don't see much coming from the Commanders. I really truly don't. I don't see nothing from this roster that says they've given. Like, if I'm Jaden Daniels, I'm kind of mad right now that my front office haven't given me more to work with when you compare to the other teams in the division. Sonny Styles was a great pick from a player, but he's also going to be immediately one of the highest paid middle backers in the league. You have to think in terms of, you're going to pay him more than what Bobby Wagner was getting paid to play middle backer on the Commanders. And you have nothing on offense that scares anybody. Nothing. So Jaden Daniels is going to be out there trying to play Superman, and they could possibly get him killed again. All right, let's move into the second team, who I think had the second off season behind the Commanders having the worst. And people may disagree with this, but it's a lot that goes into this. The New York Giants have Brian Callahan and Denard Wilson on their coaching staff. So we kind of swap. We got Brian Daboll. They got Brian Callahan and Denard Wilson. Now, I do like Denard Wilson, but when you look at the Giants roster, I think it has holes. And let me explain why. With John Harbaugh being a really great coach, but not the best offensive mind, the Giants have exactly what people thought the Titans would have coaching them, which is Matt Nagy, Brian Callahan, and Denard Wilson. That was that with John Harbaugh. I ain't happy. Like, that coaching staff, it kind of scared me a little bit if I'm a Giant fan. Why? Because it is Jackson Dart's second year. Really great showing. I think he's got all the tools in the bag with Jameis Winston behind him. But this is another sign. I'm going to tell you, Giant fans, this is Brian Callahan. Brandon Allen is over. What in the hell can Brandon Allen teach Jackson Dart about football? Tim Boyle and Brandon Allen could teach Cam Ward absolutely nothing about football. And look at my face when I tell you, when Paul Kaharski and Teron Davenport and the boys was asking Cam Ward, who does he lean to try to get this offense turned around? He said, I really don't have anybody. And then you got Brandon Allen back over there. You better hope that Jackson Dart call Jameis Winston when he got a problem. Because I wouldn't want my new rookie, my second year starting quarterback coming off an injury, Jackson Dart, to be listening to Matt Nagy and Brian Callahan. I think that's a big portion of it. Now, can Cam Scatterbo come back healthy. He cannot play with reckless abandon like he did before. Tyrone Tracy, Devin Singletary, good complementary backs. Malik Neighbors, can he come back and be healthy? I think a big part of his health is his rookie year, he had 170 targets. What does that tell you? That they don't have a second and third option. Wan'Dale Robinson is on the Titans. They got Malachi Fields in the draft. They brought over Calvin Austin III from the Steelers. Jalen Hyatt is always still going to be a question mark. They have Darnell Mooney and Darius Slayton. Darius Slayton and Darnell Mooney do not scare me in that division, similar to the Commanders. I don't know what kind of offense that Brian Callahan and Matt Nagy are going to try and run, but I don't see enough right there. Isaiah Likely, can he be tight end one? He's behind a great one in Baltimore, super talented tight end. And they still have Theo Johnson and Chris Manhertz. So I think they got a good tight end room. I think you can lean on Isaiah Likely if he's healthy. Obviously, they got one of the better fullbacks in the league, Ricard, Andrew Thomas, John Runyon, John Michael Schmitz, Francis Maui Noah, who I think is the best offensive lineman in the last draft. And then they have Jermaine E. I don't want to mess his name up. And Falele, Baltimore Ravens reject. Now, I think the Giants have more than the Commanders, but I think I don't like the Giants offensive coaching staff. I just truly don't. Dealing with a young quarterback, I don't like it. Like Matt Nagy could not get anything with Patrick Mahomes, and that's why they got rid of him. They couldn't wait to get rid of him. Brian Callahan obviously did nothing with Cam Ward and Will Levis. So that worries me, having a defensive-minded coach like Harbaugh. All right, on their defense, obviously they traded Dexter Lawrence, but when you get Arvell Reese, Brian Burns, and then they found a way to keep Kayvon Thibodeau, and then they got Tremaine Edmonds, one of the best inside backers, one of the most athletic inside. Like their linebacking core, I'm not going to lie. If I lined up Kayvon Thibodeau, Tremaine Edmonds, Arvell Reese, and Brian Burns, I don't think I could pick four on anybody's team that would be more athletic and have more of a skill set than that. And then when you add in Abdul Carter, I mean, are they just going to have their defense where they have one defensive tackle and then just a bunch of guys standing at the line of scrimmage? Because, you know, between Abdul Carter, Thibodeau, Terrell Edmonds, Arvell Reese, and Brian Burns, like these guys are as fast as your receiver, but they're big as a defensive end. So they could... Denard Wilson should be like cheesing at the abundance of edge rushers they have coming into this next season. Javon Holland, I think people don't know how good Javon Holland is with Tyler Nubin. They snatched up Jason Pinnock, who a lot of people, Tennessee Titan fans, thought that Jason Pinnock was going to end up in Nashville with Robert Saleh. And then they drafted Colton Hood in the second round with Greg Newsome and Drew Phillips. I think they got a very young and athletic secondary that can grow. I just overall, reason why I got them number 2, I like them better than the Commanders and what they've done, regardless of what I think about the coaching staff. And when we get into their draft, obviously one of the better drafts in the NFL with Arvell Reese, Francis Maui Noah, both in the top 10. The third pick was Colton Hood, who a lot of people may think is arguably one of the better corners in this draft. Malachi Fields is a question mark. Big physical target, kind of inconsistent. Don't know what you got in him. He could turn out to be a GM in the third round. And you got defensive tackle Travis from Auburn, J.C. Davis, offensive tackle for Illinois, and Jack Kelly from BYU, another linebacker. Obviously, when you see Harbaugh, he's going to go trench warfare, and that's exactly what they did, is go trench warfare in this draft. All right, now let me get caught back up on the chat. Let's see, Fly Eagles Fly. I'm not mad at that draft. Hey, bro, get off the Commanders. No. We have to be honest. Chat, we got to be honest. If a team ain't got it going, team ain't got it going. The Commanders had the worst offseason in the NFC East. Tank was good. Jaden Daniels had a way better college offense. I mean, his first year in the pros, I think the offense was better. Because, you got to think they had Austin Eckler and Brian Robinson in the backfield. Like, that's one of the more dynamic backfields that you could have. And then you think about that second season, Austin Eckler with the major injury, and they traded Brian Robinson to the 49ers. You had a lot of Krosky Merritt stepped up and Jeremy McNichols, but then I just don't think they've put any superstar talent around him. Like if I was the Commanders, I would have been like, I heard that they're trying to get Brandon Ayuk out there. Now I might like my eye might kind of twitch a little bit if they can get him off the fentanyl to get out there. Now that would sound better, Scary Terry and Brandon Ayuk, but I just don't see enough. And I think the Giants have had a pretty good offseason. It's just that I don't trust their offensive coaching staff. I truly don't. I think Harbaugh and Denard Wilson will put something out there and dial up some blitzes, but I don't trust Nagy and Callahan, Groom and Jackson Dart in year 2. Cam and Tate have 10 touchdowns this year. Market. Yo, Lack, what's good? You think the top 5 defense this season? We get to the Titans. Like I already did AFC South. We do Titans content nonstop. I'll get to those questions in a minute, but we really on the NFC East right now. And then after we done doing the NFC East, then I'll go back and answer any questions about the Titans. But this is a YouTube video, so I have to stay because we're gonna do the AFC North division next later tonight. Lack, what's good? 2 times, what up? No, Scary Terry is wide receiver 1 for the Commanders. Man, 2 times. If we would have got Nagy, you already seen the whole fan base was ready to crash out. Nobody wanted Matt Nagy, not even the Chiefs. But if you can't do nothing with Patrick Mahomes, you ain't finna do nothing with Cam Ward and Jackson Dart. All right, now this I had to really sit and think about. The third team is the Dallas Cowboys. Second to best offseason. One is Jerry Jones has kept his mouth closed about this George Pickens situation, unlike usual. They have offered him the fifth year option, which is almost $30 million guaranteed for him. He's been instructed not to take it, but he needs to take it. He's going to wind up like Ayuk. If they found a way to restructure these contracts and bring back Javonte Williams, they'll have Jaden Blue. Maybe he learns the playbook this year. And then you have one of the best duos at receiver that you could possibly have in George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb. With Flournoy, Mingo, brought in Valdez, Scanlon, a veteran, and Kevontae Turpin in the slot. Jake Ferguson, Luke Shoemaker at tight end. One thing we can say, the Dallas Cowboys problem ain't their offense. Because the last few years they've been drafting offensive linemen. It's kind of worked out. Got Tyler Booker last year. And this year, Dallas Cowboys had 2 first-round picks. Even after acquiring Quentin Williams, Kenny Clark, Rashawn Gary, they'll get DeMarvion Overshawn back healthy, which will be a big boost to them. Ezra Raku, who they drafted last year in the 2nd round, Siobhan Revel, who was hurt to start last season off. They really need him to step up in year 2. Jalen Thompson, safety that they brought in, Malik Hooker, Deron Bland, and rookie sensation Caleb Downs. They also traded for D Winners from the 49ers, which was very questionable for the Niners of why they would trade D Winners. I think the Dallas Cowboys actually have had the best 2 off seasons in a row I can see in my adult memory. I haven't seen Jerry Jones in the front office not wet the bed. They've had 2 really good off seasons. When y'all remember, go back, watch Silver and Blue Huddle with Rich Blackman. I told them I said they're going to trade Micah Parsons for 2 first rounds. They just can't mess up the first round picks. People thought that they was going to package these 2 first rounds to move up and take one of the edge rushers in this draft. And I'm glad that they didn't, because they wound up having a really good draft. And some kind of a way, nobody thought that Caleb Downs would fall and the Dallas Cowboys would be able to trade into the 11th spot and get who most people feel is like one of the more plug and play ready to go players in the draft, which was Caleb Downs, and they got Malachi Lawrence, a really electric edge rusher out of UCF, with their second pick in the first, because they basically traded in to get Caleb Downs and then traded back to get their draft pick backs, and they got Malachi Lawrence, and then they doubled down and got Barham from Michigan. So the one place that the Dallas Cowboys struggled with last year was getting to the quarterback. I think they have addressed that. And then they went back in the trenches and got Drew Shelton from Penn State. Devin Moore, a cornerback that was my number one cornerback on day 3 on my big board. Dallas got him a 6'4" corner from Florida that I really like. And then they got LT Overton. Nobody expected LT when we first started doing mocks to fall that far into the fourth round, but he did. And I think that's a steal for Dallas, getting him down there. And then they took Anthony Smith out of East Carolina. I think the Dallas made the best of their draft, having 2 first-round draft picks and being able to restructure some contracts to where their defense, we're just talking about talent-wise, Overshown is back, Ezeraku year 2, Revel year 2, getting D winners, having Malachi Lawrence and Barham to rotate guys on the edge with Quentin Williams, Kenny Clark, Rashawn Gary. They got a lot in that front 7, and then adding Caleb Downs, who they got him listed right now as a nickelback. They have a lot that they can move around. If Siobhan Revel has developed in year 2, and then you throw in the fact that they just drafted Devin Moore out of Florida, like they got Durant, they got Dallas look like they have a deep team this year. Dallas look like they got a deep team this year. All right, let me get back into the chat after we did the third team. Keep my team name out your mouth. Hey man, we talking about the NFC East. How could I not talk about the? You see what I'm saying? It's got even more power when I say, and I don't actually say it. Be careful what you wish for. For sure, Tank. I said, who we have a better record, the Giants or the Titans? I didn't know the Titans was in the NFC. Dallas Cowboys for life. It's our defense. It's been our defense for 30 years. No. A few years ago, when y'all had a home game against the Green Bay Packers, y'all defense have been carrying y'all all season, and then y'all had like 2 pick sixes out the gate. They say if the Cowboys fly, Eagles fly. Who woke me up on this good Sunday? I've been up early. He said, Chico, see, now y'all just being fans. Dallas Cowboys truly have addressed their biggest needs. You have to be fair. Top 5 defense for like 10 years and ain't win. That's what I'm saying. Like, it ain't been the defense for 30 years. At some points, it was the offense. Now it's the defense. Hold on 1 second. They ain't going to the Super Bowl. They say Rich Black ain't even here, so stop that line. Man, y'all just arguing in the chat now. I thought y'all had some real questions, man. Y'all just trolling right now. All right. Now let's get to the team that I think had the best offseason and have always had the best offseason. Maybe not just in the NFC, but in the NFL. I don't know how they do it. I don't know who they got naked pictures of. I don't know who they made it, how he made deals with the devil. But some kind of way, every year, the Philadelphia Eagles have off seasons that wow us. Now, what do? All the talk is, are they going to trade A.J. Brown? Are they going to trade A.J. Brown to the Patriots? But Jalen Hurts is still there. Saquon Barkley's still there. They got Tank Bigsby backing him up. They snuck and got Damian Pierce, ex-Texan running back over there. They picked up Dontavian Wicks, Hollywood Brown, and Elijah Moore. They're like, are they going to trade AJ? Then they still got Devontae Smith, the Slim Reaper. Call on the phone and snatch Mekhi Lemon from the Pittsburgh Steelers. We thought Dallas Goedert was gone. Some kind of way Dallas Goedert is back. They draft E.I. Stowers, and they still have Grant Calcaterra. Like, don't they run out of money at some point? They got Mailata, Landon Dickerson, Cam Jurgens, Tyler Steen, Lane Johnson. You just saying, like, are they ever going to run out of money? Jalen Carter gets the big deal. I mean, not Jalen Carter. Jordan Davis. Jalen Carter's still there. Are they going to trade Carter? Are they not going to trade Carter? Jordan Davis gets the big deal. They got a Jomo, Nolan Smith, Zach Bond, Jahad Campbell last year. And then what do? They pick up Smell Money, and they trade and get Jonathan Grenard. And then they just play musical chairs. You know how in New York when they do the look, they start doing that. You're like, how did they get Grenard for 1 third-round pick, basically? The Vikings just got finessed. When the Vikings got home and checked their bank account, they realized there was nothing in it. So they get Grenard. You got Smell Munden. You get Tariq Woolen, who I said, watch, the Eagles are going to get Tariq Woolen. I wanted Tariq Woolen in Nashville. We got Alontae Taylor. I'm still happy because I didn't think we could get either one of them. But some kind of way, they replaced Adoree Jackson with Tariq Woolen. They're like, Tariq Woolen ain't that good no more. Like, they replaced Adoree Jackson with Tariq Woolen. To go with, obviously, Cooper DeJean and Quenya Mitchell. They got Makuba from last year, and then Epps. And then you just like, how did they do this again? How did the Philadelphia Eagles find a way to keep their 2 D linemen, to keep their edge rushers, to keep their linebackers, and add a Pro Bowl linebacker and a former Pro Bowl cornerback you swapped out Adoree Jackson for? You're just trying to figure out how they're able to do this. How does the line still there? How do they keep both their tight ends and get Eli Stowers? How did they snatch Mekhi Lemon from the Pittsburgh Steelers, get Elijah Moore, Hollywood Brown, and Dontavian Wicks? And guess what they about to do? Before we get to their draft, they're going to trade A.J. Brown and get 2 first-round picks. They're going to be back in the same position that they was when they won the Super Bowl with Jalen Hurts and traded Carson Wentz. Because we're going to be sitting here trying to figure out, just like the Rams had 2 first-round picks this year, how is teams nearly in the Super Bowl and have 2 first-round picks? Because they're going to trade A.J. Brown because they've already essentially replaced him. So let's look at their draft. Obviously, the Pittsburgh Steelers got fleeced. They snatched the phone. He was crying, boogers in his nose. Mekhi Lemon to the Philadelphia Eagles, turn around and get Eli Stowers, one of the better pass-catching tight ends in the draft. Markel Bell, who was on my big board, huge offensive tackle from Miami. Cole Payton, quarterback, Michael Morris, offensive guard from Georgia. Cole Wisniewski from Texas Tech. And then you go D tackle and edge, more trench guys, just probably practice squad guys or whatever. But how are they able to upgrade the roster, still have A.J. Brown? Like, there's no guarantee that they still trade A.J. Brown. Like, what if they have a kiss and make up and it's A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and Mekhi Lemon, and you coming off the bench with Wicks, Brown, and Moore? I do think they're going to trade him, but if they don't, they're completely loaded. If they do trade A.J. Brown and get 2 first back, they're going to be loaded up with first round picks. And we're going to all be sitting here scratching our head next year when they trade in and get Jeremiah Smith. This is the type of stuff the Eagles do. They cheat. They don't run out of money. They always got extra draft picks. And somebody always makes some crazy trade. Like, they didn't want to pay Jalen Phillips. He goes to the Panthers. And then we turn around and watch the Vikings get desperate and trade them Grenard for a 3rd round pick. I know it says 2/3, but the way they finessed it is they just really gave up 1 3rd round pick. So sick of the Eagles. Let me get caught up with the chat. That's what rivals do, for sure. Carter and Nolan Smith. He said AJ going to be a 2028 first round. I think they're going to have a 27. A.J. Brown is going to get 2 firsts or a first and a second. We're not giving 2 first round for AJ. We love AJ, but no. I think he's going to be a Patriot, and I think they're going to do similar to what the Colts did when they gave up 2 firsts for Sauce Gardner. I think some kind of way the Eagles is going to have 2 firsts. But see, this the type of shit that the Eagles do. Eagles would trade AJ Brown to the Patriots for 2 firsts and then make some kind of other deal and wind up with Stephon Diggs or something. And you'd be like, wait, what? Because they already got Hollywood Brown, Dontavian Wicks, and Eli Moore, and they drafted Mekhi Lemon. Like, I really could see them being the team that do some weird shuffling shit, and like some idiot team like the Cardinals would trade them Marvin Harrison, or the Jaguars would trade them Brian Thomas Jr. Like, I could just see it, how it always is finessing. I could just see something like that happening. Because they upgraded all the positions that they needed before the draft, and then they smacked the draft, and then they're going to trade off AJ Brown and still have, because the trick is when you trade off AJ Brown, he's got $100 million contract. Mekhi Lemon is a rookie. In the middle of the first round, you can extend Devontae Smith. Nobody is getting paid. They're going to get money back. They could take that money with them 2 first round picks and go get whatever they want. Like, I just hate, like, Howie is literally like Al Pacino and Devil's Advocate. Like, he wound up giving people things they think they want, and then before they realize he got their soul. This is the type of stuff, Corey. This is the type of stuff the Eagles do, though. Like, when have y'all not seen the Eagles pull some finesse moves? So, like, even though the Cowboys had a good offseason and the Giants had a good offseason and the Commanders is trying to put duct tape on the side of their boat, and you sit and look up and see the Eagles still have the best roster in the division, and they lost nothing and gained everything back, and you just sitting there looking like, how on earth does this happen? Look, I could even see some crazier stuff like Slay saying he retired and he only played for the Eagles. Like, some kind of way they have Slay as like the 6th cornerback or something. Bro, I hate the Eagles, bro. Whatever it is they be doing, they be figuring out how to get stuff that they ain't supposed to have. So when you look at some of those free agent guys that ain't been picked up, if they don't get picked up, they'll wind up on the Eagles for a bag of peanuts. Like, I don't know what they be doing to get to finesse these rosters the way they do, but they do. He said, bro, I'm not saying the Eagles is going to the Super Bowl, because just because y'all got a good roster don't mean y'all going to win. You still got to stay healthy. You still got to play football and line it up for 60 minutes on Sunday. So that's the end of this NFC East episode. I'll be back tonight around maybe 10 Central Standard, 9:30 or something, and we'll do the NFC North Division. That is the Steelers, that is the Bengals, that is the Baltimore Ravens, and that is the Cleveland Browns. Anybody got any questions before I get out of here? And see, this is the time I didn't want to do it to my people, to my Titan people that have their Titan questions as soon as I came on, but you know, I got to stay true that the Titans fan base is not big enough for me to just do all Titan content all the time. Just like it's not big enough for me to just play Madden year round. I would, you know, you start to regurgitate content and start to ask the same questions. A lot of the questions y'all ask me is in the other pods I've already done, but you know, that somebody shows up and takes time out of their day to turn on my stream, I'm definitely here to answer questions, because I'm here for y'all, not the other way around. Howard the best in the world. Slay already saying he'll play free safety. Like Jalen Ramsey, when he started playing safety, like guys like that are just like super ball hawks because they just understand defense too well. They've already played nickel, and then moving back to safety just allow them to play on instincts, and their speed ain't really a factor. Hendricks, what up? NFC West dead last because they won the Super Bowl, so like I'm saving them for last. So it's gonna be AFC North, then NFC North, then it's gonna be AFC West, then NFC West. Wow, Swall. All right. God first in the chat. This gonna go up on YouTube in a minute as soon as I edit it. And we out. Y'all know what time it is. Hit that subscribe, like, comment, share. Tap into the daily uploads at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time. If you missed the live streams, you got picture in picture. And if I don't get to any questions during the live streams or the pods, drop them in the comments. I'll make it part of the weekly mailbag. If you're following on the blue, smash those reactions. I know you're OG. Hit that like, comment, share, tap into the daily content that is the shop. If you're new to the shop, you definitely should be tapped in on the green. No ads, up to 50 emotes free for just being a follower. You do not have to be a supporter to unlock picture in picture, late night streams. Follow us on Kick. We also live on Twitch. Look out for the drops, as well as if you have Amazon Prime, it's free $99 to sub to the channel once a month. Don't let Jeff Bezos stick that money back in his pocket. If you don't use it on the shop, use it on another content creator that you like. I still call it Twitter, but follow us on X. We tweet back. Yo, if you missed the daily shop talks, make sure you tap in for the late night cap on the purple and the green. The Discord is always open. Outside of subs, donos, and cash apps, there's also another way to support the content. That's by grabbing a trucker hat, a bandana, hoodies, the classic barbershop, Vibe Nation, right out of the official merch store on Tactic, formerly known as Geeks Unlimited.